Halo, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Uh, in this discussion, we will talk about problem in novel Cherrry by Nico Walker. And I am Mustika Ayu Laily. I'm from 4D English Literature in UIN Syarif Hidayatullah, Jakarta. At first, we will talk about the author. The author of Cherrry is Nicholas Walker. Nicholas Walker, born in 19th April 1985 in America, and he is an author and U.S. Army veteran who served time in prison of bank robbery. His semi-autographical debut novel is Cherrry, was published by Oliver Eric Knopf on August 40, 2018. From 2005 to 2006, Walker served as an army medic in Iraq, going on more than 250 combat missions. After returning to civilian life, he suffered from undiagnosed PTSD, was depressed and traumatized, and became addicted to heroin. To fund his habit, he robbed 10 banks around Cleveland in a span of 4 months. Beginning in December 2010, he was arrested in April 2011, pleaded guilty in 2012, and was given an 11-year sentence. In 2013, while Walker was behind bars in the Federal Correctional Institution in Ashland, Kentucky, he was paroled in a bus vid. This led to a correspondence with Matthew Johnson, a publisher at the independent press Trine Books. Johnson sent Walker books and encouraged him to write about his life. And he spent nearly 4 years writing and rewriting. The resulting novel, Cherrry, was published by Albert Knopf and is about the horrors of war and addiction. In the semi-autobiographical novel, a young man drops out of college and enlists in the army. He comes home in a pure state, becomes addicted to opiates, and start robbing banks. According to Folder.com, upon its publication, the book received near a universal prize. It debuted at number 14 on New York Times bestseller list. Walker has said that he is using money from sales of the book to pay back some of the banks he robbed. The book was shortlisted for the 2019 Hemingway Foundation or PEN award within days of the book's publication. The movie rights were acquired from $1 million by Joe and Anathy Rose's studio HBO, with the brothers planning to direct and produce, and the script to be written by Jessica Goldberg and starring Tom Holland as a character based on Walker. Walker was offered the opportunity to be an executive producer on the film, but he turned it down. The film, also called Cherrry, was released in theater on February 26, 2021, and on Apple TV Plus on March 12, 2021. And this is cover of Cherrry novel. You can find it on bookstore, I think, and ebook. And talk about PTSD or post-traumatic stress disorder. Post-traumatic stress disorder, or abbreviated PTSD, is a syndrome of anxiety, automatic autonomic liability, emotional insecurity, and flashback of very painful experience after physical or emotional stress that exceeds the endurance limits of ordinary people. The National Institute of Mental Health, NIMH, describes PTSD as an anxiety disorder that develops after a person experiences an event that threatens his of or her life or physical safety, which can result from a violent attack, natural disaster, accident, or war. The connection on the novel Cherrry is the character Cherrry in Nico Walker's novel. Cherrry, who suffered from PTSD as a result of participating in the war in Iraq as a soldier. Cherrry, who acts as one of the medical teams in the army, requires him to go to war to save his fellow soldiers who were injured in the war in Iraq. By seeing one by one the victims that emerged as a result of the war, Cherrry gradually became traumatized by the circumstance that required him to see bloody scenes every day. After he was discharged from the army, he experienced anxiety. The voice that popped into his head every time he fell asleep made him take medicine to calm his anxiety. And what is PTSD symptoms? Symptoms that occur in PTSD sufferers are the repetition of traumatic experience, which are indicated by remembering sad events that have been experienced, flashback, feeling himself return to the sad events, experience, nightmare, recurring nightmares about events that made him sad, emotional and physical overreaction to memories of such events, and avoidance of past activities or feeling that revert to the event, difficulty concentrating on showing increased sensitivity such as lack of sleep, irritability, and showing an exaggerated response to things. And how about PTSD treatment? There are two ways to treat patients with PTSD, namely is pharmacotherapy and psychotherapy. Pharmacotherapy is drug therapy. The drugs commonly used are benzodiazepines, lithium, composite, and beta blocking against such a propranolol, codeine, and carbamazepine. Psychotherapy is a treatment method that concentrates on the problem of PTSD sufferers. There are three ways to treat PTSD, namely anxiety management is a therapy that teaches several skills to help manage PTSD symptoms. And the second one is cognitive therapy, helping to change irrational belief due to emotion that interfere with daily activities. And the last one, exposure therapy, helps deal with special situation, reminds of trauma, and quits unrealistic fears. And drugs. We will into capture drugs, I think. Drug or narcotics are etymologically derived from English language narcos or narcosis, which means sleep, and anesthesia. According to medical terms, narcotics are drugs that can relieve ache and pains from the visceral area or device in the chest cavity and abdominal cavity, which can cause a stupor or plunge. Stupefaction effect in a conscious state can also cause addiction for the user. And the connection on novel Cherrry is character Cherrry has also felt the effect of taking drugs. Feeling calm after taking drugs made him and his wife Emily become drugs addicts. If someone who has become a drug addict doesn't take drugs, his body or her body will feel pain. Cherrry, who had no money, finally look for ways to buy drug. So he robbed the bank just to be able to buy drug. And drug is dangerous if you use it for a long time. Side effects that occur due to consuming drugs can cause our bodies to become unhealthy. Brain and nerves that are forced to work in unnatural conditions, blood circulation and heart due to contamination of the blood by substances that have harsh effects, breathing that doesn't work properly, tired quietly, the emergence of dependence due to discontinuation of taking drugs, and that. And how to treatment for drugs addict. Rehabilitation is a very complicated endeavor to do, but drug addicts must recover, a state that still shows symptoms of anxiety, depression, the desire to take medication, and unstable emotional state can slow down rehabilitation process. The role of the family in encouraging recovery is also a major factor for the recovery of drugs addict. And the conclusion is, in novel Cherrry by Nico Walker, we can find out that what is PTSD? The reason why PTSD can be serious disease to cause addiction to drugs is to eliminate the disorder caused by PTSD. From what I can tell, we can cure the PTSD without taking drugs. Trusting the expert to cure PTSD is a step in the right direction. But Cherrry chose to take the step he shouldn't have, which was to become a drug addict. So it became increasingly difficult for him to find the right treatment to cure PTSD and drug addiction. From here, we can also find out how to cure drugs use. We need for family support is also the most important thing in fighting drugs addiction. And that's it about novel Cherrry by Nico Walkers. And you can find out in bookstore or you can watch the movie. It's actually really good to watch it. And thank you. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Bye.